Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about my April favorites. So it's May is upon us. I'm pulling up my sleeves because it's hot in here. It is May, and for me that just means that summertime is almost here. Here's hoping. So I have been attempting to shop my stash a little bit more, and while doing that I've rediscovered some old favorites, and there's actually one thing in here that I meant to put in my March favorites and I totally forgot, so I want to make sure that I mention it today. So in an effort to not make this video a million years long, let's get started. So first let's start with, I guess some complexion products. That's where we'll go. So one of the items that I have rediscovered in the past month or so is this foundation from Cover FX. This is the Natural Finish Oil-Free Foundation here. I decided to reach back into this a little bit ago, and I realized that I loved it. Loved it before, still love it, and it's a really good full coverage foundation. That is the key. It is full coverage. So I was having a bit of a breakout situation along my cheeks, and it had left some dark marks. I think we've talked about it because I tried some different skincare, blah, blah, blah. But in the process, I wanted a more full cover foundation to kind of cover the things that I was a little insecure about. So I reached out to this because I was like, oh, I think I remember this being super full coverage, and oh boy, it is. So definitely be careful with it because you can get cake face pretty quickly if you're not careful. But I do like to apply it with a beauty blender, and that tends to shear it out just a little bit. Now, in addition to this lovely, gorgeous full coverage foundation, I like to mix it with the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops in Candlelight. So this is my other favorite this month. This is just such a beautiful mixer to foundations is what I found. Currently, I am in between most of my foundations, like they're either a little too light or a little too dark, and so this is the perfect thing to add to them because Candlelight is a very bronzy color, and it's just a little too bronzy for me to wear like as a highlight on the tops of my cheeks. So instead I like to mix it into foundation, and it's been perfect for that. There was a brief moment when I didn't think I was going to get enough use out of this, but turns out it's the perfect mixer for my foundation. So this combination together has been a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful situation. Now, in addition to mixing it with the Cover FX foundation, I also like to mix it with another oldie but goodie, and that's the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. So this is actually the combination for foundation that I have on today. That's such a mouthful to say. But I decided to reach back into this because I remember this foundation being just really beautiful, and I really enjoyed it, and I was wearing nothing but this for so long, so I figured now was a good time to try it out again. And as I mentioned, it's just a hair too light for me at the current moment, so mixing it with the Cover FX drops not only adds to the beautiful finish that this already has, but it does give you an overall kind of subtle glowy look, which I really do appreciate right this moment. So in the Makeup Forever, this is shade Y455 actually, so Y455, and then I'm in 80 in the Cover FX foundation. So I absolutely love those two mixed with this, beautimous. And this is the shade Candlelight if I didn't mention it already. So we have those things. Moving right along, let's jump into a powder real quick. So I subscribe to the Sephora Playbox, and if you don't know what that is, every month it's a subscription service, and every month they send you some deluxe size samples of different products that you can pick up at Sephora. And so a few months back actually, in one of the boxes there was the Derma Blend Loose Setting Powder. And this is it here. It's like a typical translucent white loose powder. I can't tilt it over too much so you won't be able to see it probably. But you know, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Now I have been interested in the Derma Blend products because I do have a scar here on my chest that I am always interested if there's a particular foundation that could cover it. And Derma Blend is very much known for covering scars and tattoos and vitiligo and things of that nature. So it is a very full coverage blending foundation line. And when you go to kind of look into that line, they always mention their loose setting powder as something that should go in combination with the foundations that they offer. And so I never tried it, but I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'll hold on to it and see. And then, of course, like all products, you eventually hear someone raving about them. And I heard Patrick Starr rave about the Dermablend powder and how flawless it made his under eyes. And so I was like, sure, I got this sample. I'll try it. And actually, I love it. I really do enjoy this powder. I love it just as much as my RCMA powder, which actually is quite less expensive than this guy. But if you happen to get your hands on this little powder, I definitely recommend it. It is a very finely milled translucent powder. I haven't noticed any flashback with it. It's been really lovely. So, and this sample size is actually the perfect little size, because honestly, how many large size powders do we really go through? So I think the only full size, I think I have 2 full size powders, and I've barely made a dent. So these deluxe size samples are pretty perfect in my book, and they're good for traveling. So that is the Dermablend Professional Loose Setting Powder in Translucent. Moving right along to the product that I mentioned that I was loving last month and forgot to mention, and that is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Foundation Powder. This stuff is so great. It's just a really good foundation powder, and there was a few weeks of time there when I would just spot conceal, do a little concealer under my eye, and then put this powder all over, and that would be my everyday face. And it works really well. It's a beautiful powder. It's not super matte. Obviously it's not dewy, but it's definitely not super matte. It's definitely a skin-like finish, and so it pairs really well if you want to do a little fix plus over it. Once you're done, it definitely gives you a very skin-like but flawless finish. That's the nice thing about it. You get a very flawless finish, but it doesn't look caked on. It doesn't look powdery, especially after you use a Fix Plus. So I really have enjoyed this. Now this is my all over color is Hazelnut. That's number 25. And this is it here. So it's just a pretty nice, slightly warm face powder, which I absolutely adore. And I love this so much. At one point, Ulta had a sale where they were like $15, which is kind of ridiculous. So I did pick up quite a few colors, and I tend to use them for various reasons. And then also, if I ever do like a friend's makeup or something, I bought a bunch of colors so I can kind of match a few of my friends. And so this is actually number 26, which is Chai, and I use that as a bronzer today. So that's what I have on as a bronzer, and I really do enjoy this one because, again, as I have a bit more kind of old scars to cover from breakouts and such on my face, this is a nice full coverage powder that will bronze but also cover that area. So I really have been enjoying this guy. So the one I bronze with is number 26, and the one I wear all over is number 25. So I've been loving those two for sure. Now, speaking of bronzers, my other favorite bronzer that I've been loving for probably the past month and a half is the Guerlain Terracotta Powder in number 7. Now, this is it here. It's a beautiful, not terribly warm, almost neutral bronzing powder. It does have the tiniest bit of shimmer, which is nice for a bronzer. Kind of makes you look a bit more glowy. And I really do enjoy this powder. It does have a slight scent, but I don't really notice it as much anymore. But overall, it's just a really good powder. So I picked this up a while back and decided to try it again. Or go back to it rather, because I was pretty much only wearing my MAC Mineral Skin Finish in Dark Deep, maybe? Yeah, Dark Deep. And so this is it here. Now this one is just considerably warmer. Okay, so this is MAC's Dark Deep, which is fairly warm, and this is a little more neutral. I decided to go back to the Guerlain one that was more neutral because every now and then I notice that I can really pull the red from a product. And so by that I mean, if there's a bit of warmth in a product, I can definitely, something in my skin tone, something in my skin chemistry makes it pull super red if I'm not careful. And as we all know, it's pretty easy to get yourself a bronzer helmet if you're not careful. Like you're just putting it on, and it just looks so good in that one particular light, and you get in another light and you're like, oof, bronzer helmet has happened. So when I get the bronzer helmet, it tends to pull very red on me if I'm wearing the dark deep, which is totally fine and I'm okay with that. But it wasn't, like, I like that better in the warmer months, I think is what I'm coming to. So I wanted a more neutral bronzer. As we were still kind of in the late winter, springtime months. So that is where this terracotta bronzer has come in. It's a beautiful bronzer and I absolutely love it. But it's just a little more neutral and I can appreciate that. So this is the Guerlain Terracotta Bronzing Powder in number 7. Very nice. We have some eye products here and I have 2 of them. The first one I have mentioned to you guys in the haul, and this is the Marc Jacobs, what's it called? Highliner Gel Eye Crayon, and this is in the color Sunset. This is also, I have the bronzer on today. This is also the liner I have in my waterline today. You probably won't be able to see it from this distance, but I do like it. I'll swatch a little bit here for you, because it is this goldy kind of bronzy color, but it's a little bit lighter. But as you can see, it's kind of similar to my skin tone, which is nice because I tend to wear a ton of smoky eyes. Today is not much of an exception, but when I wear a smoky eye in the daytime, I like to wear a lighter liner. That way it doesn't look so intense and so smoky. I mean, let's be honest, it probably still does, but in my mind, that is the way to wear a smoky eye in the daytime, is to wear a lighter liner. And so this has been nice because it is kind of a goldy, reflecty, and almost my skin tone. It's a nice way to brighten up and open up the eyes while you're still having a bunch of smoke going on around it. So I've been loving this. It's in the color Sunset. And again, that's the Marc Jacobs Highliner Gel Eye Crayon. And these stay in your waterline all day. They're really good. I really like them. If you haven't noticed already, you should definitely pick this up. So really love this pencil. Now, the next eye product that I want to mention is probably, yeah, I think it's my favorite product of this whole lineup today. And this is the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. This is a mascara that I don't know what took me so long to pick it up. I just really can't understand it. This mascara, number one, I purchased it for my lower lash line because that's what I saw everybody else doing. I was like, well, I'll give it a try. And so I added it to my routine where on my bottom lashes, I would just do this mascara. And it was phenomenal. It makes your lashes so long and so black. It's just great, especially if you're wearing false lashes, you know, up top. You definitely want to make sure, or maybe you don't, but I like to make sure that my lower lash line is balanced out with a good mascara on the bottom. Now, my issue is that quite often mascaras will transfer on me if I'm not careful. The Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir Mascara is a beautiful mascara, but it transfers on my bottom lash line every single time. The Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara is a beautiful mascara, but it transfers on my bottom lash line. So I don't wear those on my bottom lash line. So I thought I would pick up something specifically for that, and it would be this. And so I picked it up and I was like, okay, this would be fine. I go to try it. I'm like, oh my gosh, my lower lash line is amazing. One day I decided to just use this on my bottom and top lash line. And I was like, oh, I have a little time. I'm gonna go to work and put on a couple layers of mascara. This mascara looks so good on all of my lashes, just not my bottom lash line. I was floored. I could not believe how long and how defined that this mascara made each and every one of my lashes. And when you put on the second coat, my goodness, it is like a miracle worker. I was just like, oh my gosh. I just was mesmerized by how really nice this mascara was, and it lasted all day. And then I was watching something sad. I don't know, something had me crying when I was watching TV, and this mascara didn't go anywhere. It wasn't like running down my face or anything. It actually held up really well. So I actually really love this mascara. And I haven't loved the mascara since I discovered the Charlotte Tilbury mascara. So this is pretty phenomenal in my opinion. Pretty phenomenal. So that is that. The last item that I want to mention today is a lipstick, and this is from Bite Beauty. It's one there. No. This is from Bite Beauty, and it's one of their Amuse Bouche lipsticks, and this is in the color Verbena. This is it here. As you can see, it's pretty well loved. I'm almost down to the bottom. I will swatch it for you. It's hard to swatch because my lip print is so legit in it, but that is it here. And it's just a beautiful, rosy, peachy, mauve-y, so many descriptors kind of color. This is just my favorite everyday color of lipstick. So the Amuse Bouche lipsticks are really, really moisturizing and comfortable, and they wear a really decent amount of time. And so I really like to have this in my everyday, kind of throw it in my purse bag of makeup, just because this is a good color for everyday. And so actually that's where it was. I had to go dig it out of my purse in order to show it to you today. So that is Verbena from Bite Beauty that I actually really, really enjoy. So ladies and gents, that concludes all of my favorites for this past month. I think I pretty much captured all the stuff. I've really been trying to shop my own stash and not really buy a ton of stuff and kind of use what I got, because we are working on a no-buy situation, me and you. Maybe not you, but definitely me, working on a no-buy situation. So I have been just kind of reaching in and rediscovering some items that I've been loving. So I hope that you enjoyed this little favors video. I definitely enjoy filming it for you. If you have not already subscribed, I'm not sure what you're waiting on, but to help you help me, I will leave right here just a little something that you can click on, and it'll take you very quickly to an area in which you can subscribe, just like that. And if you haven't seen my most recent video, I will pop that puppy just right here so you can check it out and see. I'm pretty sure my last video was a haul, so you can see where the no-buy started. It started right about here. As always, I love you guys, and I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.